What do you want from school for your child? Many parents say, academic achievement. Parents tell us they send their children to school to learn. Then, as they see their children growing into adolescence and adulthood, parents say they want them prepared for career success. Parents say they want their children to have a good foundation that will provide them many choices in the types of career they will pursue. And finally, parents tell us they want their children to be happy. At the Chula Vista Elementary School District, the dual language program has 3 goals that are widely known as the 3 pillars of dual language. And these 3 pillars line up exactly with parents' vision of what they want for their children when they send them to school. The first pillar of dual language is academic achievement. On average, students in two-way dual language programs achieve higher English proficiency than their monolingual peers by 5th and 6th grade, a difference that accelerates in the upper grades. The second subject that parents talk about as being most important to their children's education is career success. This graph shows the number of people who speak the most common languages in the world. As you can see, Mandarin Chinese is spoken by more people than any other language. Spanish is second and English is third. If you know Spanish and English, you can communicate with more people in the world than anyone else except a Mandarin speaker. In our increasing global marketplace, this is important. A person who is bilingual and biliterate has a big advantage, and many jobs here in California are only open to those who are fluent in English and Spanish. If you want to set your child up to have a career advantage, this is one of the best things a parent can do, and it is the second pillar of dual language education. Bilingualism refers to speaking and listening. Biliteracy refers to reading and writing. Happiness is harder to measure, but psychologists tell us that people are an important key to happiness. We need family, friends, and a community to truly feel happy. There was a time when a person could live their entire lifetime without interacting with people of other cultures. Nowadays, with travel and technology, that is very rare. Getting along with people requires an appreciation for other cultures, and thus, the third pillar of dual language education is cultural competence. Our program is designed to ensure that all students accomplish what we call the ABCs of dual language. These are academic achievement, bilingualism, biliteracy, and cultural competence. Many times when we talk about the benefits of dual language with parents of English learners, they insist that they want their child in only English or all English classes. And on the surface, it would seem to make sense that if you want your child to learn English, having them learn in English all day might be the best way. However, brain science tells us it really doesn't work that way. The facts of the matter are that learning in your first language, whatever language that may be, is more efficient. Think about this. If your boss told you that you had to learn accounting to keep your job, would you want to take an accounting course in your strongest language or your weakest language? Would you want to take the course in your first or your second language? In this scenario, of course, you would learn accounting faster in your first language or your dominant language. What's not so obvious is learning in your first language transfers to learning in a second language. Think of it like this. Imagine a person who has been running 5 miles a day for many years. If that person decides he or she wants to take up swimming, they don't have to start from scratch. They already have a developed lung capacity and strong leg muscles. They have already developed mental and physical endurance. They just have to learn the strokes and breathing techniques. In many languages, letters, word types, and many language structures are also similar. Also, content like math and science carries over from one to the other. Learning 2 languages strengthens the brain. This isn't just theory. There is a lot of research that supports the value of dual language education. On this graph, you will see a representation of how English learners progress in learning English. You will get to see English speakers who are learning Spanish, but first we will see what happens to English learners. The numbers at the bottom represent grades, so going left to right, the graph will show how students progress from grade to grade. The dotted line represents grade level proficiency in English. Kindergartners who are English learners obviously start below the line. Otherwise, they wouldn't be English learners. Watch how they progress. They begin learning English rapidly and are catching up, but around 6th grade, they begin to flatten out, and in high school, they actually drop behind. There are two important things to know about this line. First, it is taken from studies of 50,000 students across many districts. This is not data on Chula Vista students, but we will see that in a moment. The second important point to remember is that this line represents an average. We all know many students who cross that line and become proficient. You may even know a student who has truly excelled, like someone represented by this dot. But because this line is an average, that means for every student who became highly proficient in English, there is a student down here who never learned English. This line represents English learners and English-only classes. It doesn't look very good, but there are other programs besides English only. The English learners keep progressing until they cross that line and, on average, become proficient. This line represents English learners in one-way dual language programs. One way refers to programs that have either all English learners or all English speakers. As you can see, students do well in this program, but there is an even better program. In two-way dual immersion, there is a mixture of English speakers and Spanish speakers, who each serve as role models for one another. So this data looks good, but does it hold true in Chula Vista? This chart shows the average scale score of students on the State English Language Arts test that 3rd through 6th grade students take every spring. Again, the dotted line represents grade level proficiency. You can see that on average, English learners in English-only classrooms are slightly below proficiency. However, English learners in dual language classrooms average 12 points above proficiency. That's above grade level. Now, what about our students who are not English learners? Well, those in English-only classrooms do well, 42 points above proficiency, but in dual language programs, they do even better, even though they spend only part of the day in English instruction. In fact, they average 60 points above proficiency. That's almost 2 years ahead of grade level. This is a map of the 22 schools that currently have dual language programs. There are two models. In the 50-50 model, which are the schools in green, students receive English instruction for half the day and Spanish instruction for the other half. In the 90-10 model, the schools in blue, 90% of the instruction is in Spanish in kindergarten and 1st grade, and only 10% in English. This increases by 10% each year from the 2nd grade onward, until they reach 50-50 from 5th grade forward. Which program is better? English learners learn English equally well in both programs. Spanish learners learn Spanish more quickly in the 90-10 programs. However, by the end of middle school, it equals out. So students become bilingual and biliterate in either program model. We have learned what the research says. Now, let's hear what our students say. First, our English learners. The video here is narrated in Spanish and is followed by another narrated in English.
Nuestros programas de inmersión en 2 idiomas están diseñados para desarrollar fluidez tanto en español como en inglés. Los estudiantes cuyo idioma natal es el español o el inglés desarrollan sus habilidades de escuchar, hablar, leer y escribir en ambos idiomas. El objetivo es el dominio de los 2 idiomas.
It is important to learn English and Spanish, so when you go to some place, you can learn both languages because it is good for you and you can learn more.
22 escuelas en nuestro distrito ofrecen un programa de inmersión en 2 idiomas, que en conjunto instruyen a más de 4,400 estudiantes con clases interesantes y dinámicas.
When I was younger, I wasn't so great in my grammar, and throughout the years, it's helped me a lot with my grammar and just spelling, so I am able to communicate with others not only by my speaking, but by my writing.
Para obtener más información sobre nuestros programas de 2 idiomas, visite nuestro sitio web.
Our dual language programs are designed to build fluency in both Spanish and English. Native Spanish-speaking and native English-speaking children develop their listening, speaking, reading, and writing skills in both languages.
Me gusta el programa de dual inmersión porque me da beneficios como aprender nuevos lenguajes y aprender nuevas culturas.
22 schools in our district offer a dual language program, which collectively enroll more than 4,400 students in engaging and dynamic studies.
Estoy aprendiendo en español, ciencias, matemáticas. Creo que es importante entender español porque es más divertido, en mi opinión, hacer 2 lenguas.
Learn more about our dual language programs by visiting our district website. Finally, to summarize, here are 5 important points. Our dual language program provides the best way to learn English, the best way to learn Spanish, the best academic achievement, and cultural appreciation and job market advantage.